This is me. This is my specific x-ray, and I want to share it with you because I want you to see this and understand where my problem was, where the subluxation was, and then you'll understand the protocols that I go through that I do every single day to maintain the health and bulletproof my spine. For the last 26 years, I've done these protocols, and they've bulletproofed my spine, and I don't have flare-ups very, very rarely. I haven't had a flare-up in years. And I know a lot of you on this call or on this webinar would love to not have flare-ups for years at a time. Now, I'm not saying everything's perfect. This is not magic. Nothing is magic, but this works because we're improving the health of our spine. This is my lower back looking at it from the side. Again, this is the curve that should be in your lumbar spine. If you look closely, starting at the dark areas between my vertebrae, you can see at L1, that's up at the top, L2, L3, L4. You just keep going down. Those discs all look pretty good. But if we zoom in on the lower discs, and I actually marked these in red dots here, you see that the very top of this picture, you can see the two red dots. They're close together. They're lined up. One vertebrae stops. Right below that is the corner of the other one. That's the way it should be. Go down another segment. Now you can see those two red dots line up pretty well. You can see the bottom corner of that vertebrae has a red dot on it. The top back corner of the vertebrae below it has a red dot on it. Where one vertebrae stops, the other one starts. Perfect. That's great. Now zoom down, go down to the lowest disc space. Number one, you see how that disc space is more narrow? You see how it's lost height? It's lost disc height. Number two, those red dots do not line up. So my spine shifted so far, it caused a stress fracture. This is why we call it a spondylitic spondylolisthesis. There was a stress fracture in the pars of my vertebrae. This is a part of the bone in the back of the vertebrae. That stress fracture allowed this vertebrae to shift forward, and that red dot we're looking at the bottom of my spine, the red dot on top should be right on top of the red dot below it, but it is not. It is shifted forward. That much misalignment, that much shift caused enough inflammation to give me hell. Forgive my language, but I was in hell when I was 16 years old because of that alignment, because of that shift, and because of that loss of disc height that I allowed to happen from micro trauma, repetitive stresses on my disc. The chiropractor began to adjust me. He would adjust my tailbone right there, push that vertebrae forward. He would give me exercises to do to rehydrate my disc. He would strengthen the muscles around this lower area to rehab this area as good as possible. It will never be perfect again because it has shifted that far out of alignment and caused a stress fracture. My lower spine will never be perfect again, but I could get it as good as it will possibly be. And then what I do every day maintains it and maintains all the improvement that I've gotten.